You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sim Racing Media here in Dover, Delaware with the Elite Cup Racing Next Gen Series. I'm your host, Joe Manella. Join me in the booth, Gary Wells. We are going to be here for 200 laps. No stages, four additional tire sets, 3 green-white checkers. Fuel window is going to be 68 to 72 laps. And we are in store for a thriller of a race here at the Monster Mile. Gary, how you feeling, brother?
Well, I'll tell you what, I am feeling really good today, Joe. I think we're in for a heck of a race. Dover is kind of one of those wild card races where either you get a lot of green flag runs or you see a lot of cautions. And based off of our observations before going on air tonight, I think we're going to see a lot more cautions than we normally do out of these guys.
Yeah, Dover, one of those tracks that is either going to produce solid runs or cars will end up into that solid wall. And, but these guys here at ECR, they do a really good job keeping it clean. But, however, as you mentioned, in practice, we did see a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Calamity.
Carnage.
So
Calamity. That's another good one.
we will see how things go. Guys are finishing up qualifying right now. Dwayne Furtick hitting it on the pole with a 22.35. Dwayne Furtick's got some momentum. He is the winner from last week at Nashville Super Speedway, and he'll be looking to go back-to-back here tonight. However, he's going to have to battle the best of the best here in the Elite Cup Racing Next Gen Series with Tristan Bailey. Tristan Bailey's got 7 wins on the season so far. But looks like we've got a little bit of a shakeup as far as qualifying. We've got Evan Marlowe, Aaron Miller, and Adam Boughton finishing up the top 5 here. And as we saw last week, Aaron Miller having some difficulties at Nashville Super Speedway, so hopefully he can come back and have a better night here at Dover.
Yeah, back-to-back concrete tracks is definitely not what I had on my bingo card, but hopefully Aaron learned a thing or two from last week at Nashville and can apply some of those tire-saving principles from that concrete racetrack to this one.
Yeah, and a few things to note here. We've got Doug Denise and Robert Roth both taking provisionals for tonight. And Ethan Brooks still on probation. He has 1 race remaining on probation, so he cannot qualify tonight. So he'll be starting in the rear of the field. But yeah, we'll see how things pan out for Mr. Ethan Brooks. And in just a minute, we'll be gridding up and getting ready to go green.
Yep, getting ready to go green here, and like we talked about earlier at the top of the show here, would not be surprised if good old Miles the Monster claims a couple of victims here tonight. But we do have an ongoing chase bubble. I don't know if you have the points or not ready to roll here, but there's a couple of guys right there at that chase cutoff where it's still anybody's game with just a couple of races left.
Yeah, right on the bubble. You've got a few drivers right there. 12 drivers will make the chase. Aaron Miller is the final driver currently going to make the chase, but Pete Walsh not too far behind him with only 9 points. Then you got Evan Marlowe about 20 and change, probably about 26, 27 points behind him. So it's getting down to the wire. Only 3 races remaining in the chase. We'll give you a refresh on that. Tonight, Dover. Next week at Echo Park, Atlanta. And then the following week at Daytona. That will be the end of the regular season as we make our way into the chase. Field, however, is gridded up. So we will take a look at your starting lineup for tonight. On the pole, Dwayne Furtick in the number 51 and Tristan Bailey on his outside in the number 9. Row number 2 is going to be Evan Marlowe in the number 21 and Aaron Miller in the number 10.
Not going. 1 to go.
Adam Boughton and Randy Meeks in row number 3. Row number 4 is going to be Christopher Howell and Tyler Burton. Row number 5, Alan Holtzman and Michael York. Row number 6, Christopher Roth and Anthony Ludi. Kent Mueller and Ryan McCall in row number 7. Row number 8, Gary Nash and Pete Walsh. Row number 9, Douglas King and John Osborne. And in row number 10, shotgun in the field will be Ethan Brooks. Now, one thing that I want to bring some light to, Gary Nash here, sponsoring tonight's race, Drive Sober for Dover. Gary Nash sponsoring tonight's race. Gary Nash celebrating 2 years sober. So I just wanted to give big congratulations to Gary Nash and a thanks for sponsoring tonight's race and making it happen. As we have a delayed green here so the field can get stacked up with Ethan Brooks having to fall to the rear of the field. So it'll be green flag next time by.
Yeah, he didn't even lay down a lap. He was already at the tail end of the longest line. I think they were extending that yellow for us to get through the starting grid. But yeah, just again, shout out to Gary Nash, like you were saying, 2 years sober for him and sponsoring the race tonight. And, yeah. Hopefully, with him sponsoring the race, it gives him a little extra luck, and he has a good run here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kane Lee in the chat, proud of you, Gary, a.k.a. South. So, Gary, you've got a lot of people out there who love and support you, especially us up here in the booth with Sim Racing Media. So we wish you all the best of the luck as the pace car is off, and we are about to go green.
Green flag.
And we've got a pile up already.
Caution already, 24.
They could start putting like an age limit on racing or something, you know?
Alan Holtzman, he got right turned. I thought I saw maybe Anthony Ludi is also involved.
Yeah, it was the 95 of Ludi and the 24.
The 24, it looked like he might have just spun his tires there on the start.
So we're going to go back. We're going to take a look at this from the far chase angle with Alan Holtzman and see if we can't get a grip of what happened here.
Well, you know, ironically, you say grip, and he didn't have any when he hit the gas pedal there.
No, he sure did not. And unfortunately, Anthony Ludi, being the unfortunate recipient.
Yeah, and he's definitely got some right side damage there and a little bit of left front fender damage. You know, he'll have to check that out and see how much of that is going to affect him moving forward.
Yeah, hopefully Anthony Ludi does not have enough damage, although Alan Holtzman did jump to the pits. Hopefully that does not completely end his race. However,
looks like he's got a couple guys already pitting here for at least fuel, or if they were maybe involved in the back end of that incident, getting some damage fixed on their cars. As you see, Alan Holtzman on pit road here.
let's take another look at it from Anthony Ludi's point of view. And yeah, just know where to go. Doesn't see him until the absolute last minute.
Yeah, I mean, they were starting side by side with one another there. I don't know if it was just one of those things where Holtzman was maybe trying to do a first gear restart, and he just didn't have the grit when he tried to get into the loud pedal there.
Yeah, my philosophy, when in doubt, play it safe, and
Starting second gear.
Start-
That's what I always do.
yeah, especially back in the field, but you know, life goes on. We will re-rack them and restart. Caution coming on lap number 1 of 200 here. We'll be going a total of 200 miles here at the Monster Mile for the Drive Sober for Dover. That is one heck of a tongue twister for me to say. But we, nonetheless, will re-rack. We'll take a quick look at our 10-car lineup. Dwayne Furtick, Tristan Bailey, Evan Marlowe, Adam Boughton, Aaron Miller, Christopher Howell, Tyler Burton, Randy Makes, Christopher Roth, and Michael York. Pace car leading the field down the back straightaway as everybody is in line. Dwayne Furtick will have control on this restart as the pace car makes its hard left turn onto pit road.
Green flag.
And Dwayne Furtick with a monster jump off the restart.
Yeah, one of the key areas that we'll have to watch out here for tonight, as these guys are already pretty much single file throughout the field, is the exit of turn 2 and turn 4. It's a really tight exit point there, and whether you're running low or running high, you gotta be able to meet right there in the same piece of real estate. So wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see a couple of incidents with these drivers here tonight coming off of both of those corners there.
Yeah, it gets real narrow coming out of both of these turns, and you know, the transition banking out of turn 4 a little bit more difficult from turn number 2. Turn number 2, car tends to want to get loose on you, and then in turn 4 it tends to want to push a little bit tight and then snap loose. So it's gonna be challenging for these drivers to navigate. As you can kind of hear all the cars bottoming out there on entry to turn number 3 as they transition from the straightaway to the banking.
And we don't really talk about falling very much into the corners here, but at Dover and Bristol used to be really bad about this too. Not so much anymore since their reconfiguration, but here at Dover especially, I mean, you're basically falling the equivalent of a couple stories getting into the corner. I mean, the jumps are really bad here as you go into a corner, and then coming out of the corner, it really does feel like a roller coaster in and out of the corners here at Dover.
Yeah, as we already have a lead change, Tristan Bailey assuming the top spot on the leaderboard, getting around Dwayne Furtick just after the restart here. Now, one thing to note again, if anybody's tuning back in, if you missed last week, Tristan Bailey is the in-season Eliminator Challenge winner. Will be awarded 3 additional championship points at the start of the chase in just 3 weeks. Dwayne Furtick, your winner last week at Nashville Super Speedway. As we get ready to end the regular season here in just a few short weeks.
Yeah, and he's definitely already got a pretty good advantage being the points leader already this season, and obviously the season high in 7 wins already this season. So he's done a great job, and he's definitely well deserving of those 3 extra bonus points as we start the chase here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go on board here with Kent Mueller. Kent Mueller currently sitting just outside the top 10 and 12th right now behind John Osborne. Kent Mueller sporting that DHL Express paint scheme. Also got 213 Simware on the rear of his vehicle. 213 Simware, one of the sponsors of the Elite Cup Racing Next Gen Series. As Tristan Bailey leads the field into turn number 3. Field is pretty much single filed out. Probably one of the more smarter ways to run here at Dover. Not the track I want to be too wide at all.
No, not at all. But you see Evan Marlowe here. He is trying to make a run at that 51 of Dwayne Furtick. He's tried high. He's tried low. Seems like it's really working for him to run that top side in 3 and 4 and do a big old diamond. And then 1 and 2, he's just repping that bottom like he would at Old Atlanta, like Harvick did back in the day. And he's calling me a liar as he's going back to the top of the racetrack here.
Yeah, as you can hear Evan Marlowe feathering that throttle, backing off. Trying to keep those tires gripped up. That wall will show up on you in a heartbeat if you're not careful, so.
And it looks like a 5 here of Michael York. He's trying to set up a pass here on the old 94 machine of Adam Boughton. So
Yeah.
it's a good battle for second and a good battle for fourth here on the racetrack. And even the 10 and the 06 are close together as well, but those two, I think they're being a little bit more patient at the moment. And a lot of this too, Joe, I think is these guys are just searching for clean air in the corner because with how aero sensitive this next gen Cup car is, you got to go where they aren't sometimes and make sure you get the most maximum downforce you can on the nose.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more there, Gary. Clean air is king with any car, but more so with this next gen car. The way the nose is configured and with the downforce coming from underneath the car as opposed to from over the top of the car, and makes it a little bit more difficult for these drivers to control. But so far, after that little hiccup there on lap number 1, it's been green so far, 21 laps of 200. Randy Meeks back here in 9th, running for Southern Alliance Racing along with Douglas King, Ethan Brooks, Gary Nash, and Alan Holtzman. Randy Meeks, the only driver so far of Southern Alliance inside the top 10.
Yeah, Randy's always one of those quality guys too in this league where he may not be ranking the top 3s in the wins like Tristan Bailey, but he's one of those guys where you'll easily see him in 8th to 12th place every week, just running very, very solid.
We'll take a look at Ryan McCall here, battling for 11th with Christopher Roth.
Yeah, and Ryan just trying to get as much grip as he can through the corners. He's kind of running a middle line where he kind of goes into in the middle portion of the racetrack, and then he tries to cut it down to the low side by the corner exit. But yeah, even 25 laps into this race already, Joe, we're starting to see this concrete oval change in the corners. Starting to see some rubber being laid down on the bottom lane of the racetrack, and so as that continues to rubber up, it'll get slick, and these guys will be all over this racetrack looking for grip.
Yeah, and we're already seeing a significant amount of fall off with about 3/4 of a second.
Oh, we got contact between the 09 or the 90 and the 62.
Yep, a little bit of contact there between McCall and Roth. But as I was saying, some pretty significant fall off, almost about a second of fall off within the first 27 laps of this race. So pace is going to slow down as the tires start to feel the effects of this hot concrete and the drivers having to navigate around the rubber that is built up on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is not a young surface by any means either. I mean, the last time this place was paved was when they went from asphalt to concrete in the early 90s. So this place has been around a while. This concrete has been, it's one of the oldest surfaces that we have on the circuit as well. So definitely a lot of years and a lot of age on this concrete, which makes it even more abrasive.
Yeah, and Dover, another one of those iconic and historic tracks on the circuit. Unfortunately, now it currently only being used for the All-Star race. However, I do think that will change. I would like to see them come back to Dover for a points race the same way they did with North Wilkesboro. Take a look here on the, I don't know what to call this, the suspension cam or the left side cam here of Adam Boughton as he starts to work on Evan Marlowe for that third position.
It seemed like early on Adam definitely let him go, and now he's reeling him back in. But yeah, the guys starting first, second, and third are still in your top three. Just the only difference is Tristan Bailey's taking the lead. But Adam trying to spoil the party here and try to get into that top three, get into one of those top three spots there.
Yeah, Adam with a really smart decision there, letting Evan Marlowe just overtake him early on in the race. You know, early in the race, it's not, from my perspective, that's not when you want to fight for position. Now, some tracks, you have no choice, right? Like tracks like Indianapolis, Pocono, you have to fight for position early on. But, on, mile and a halves, your mile tracks and your short tracks, is you don't have to fight for position early on in the race. You want to let your tires kind of work in.
So close contact, sorry, between the 51 and the 21 there as they were going for a second.
Oh, we're gonna hop up here and kind of see what's going on. It looks like the 21 is falling back some. Adam Boughton getting ready to overtake Evan Marlowe here on turn number 2.
The 51 and the 21 were side by side that last lap of the exit too, and it was almost a crash there. I think the 51 was trying to pinch off Evan, and Evan had nowhere to go but the apron or to hit the side of the 51.
You've got Tyler Burden now on the bumper of Adam Boughton.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to get the back bumper, but we've seen here tonight so far, you catch up to these guys, it is extremely hard to get around somebody, so we'll just have to see how things pan out, of course.
And you can see Tyler Burden there taking the high line because that's the only place where the clean air was. Unfortunately, you give up some time going on the high side on entry, but you gain it back on exit, and it doesn't look like Evan Marlowe is any further behind Adam Boughton than he was just a few laps ago.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things, too, where you do try the high line at Dover. If there's not a whole lot of traffic up there, it just gets really dusty up there, and there's not a whole lot of grip. So it seems like you got to really work at it for 3 or 4 laps in order for that high line to gain some grip. Of course, that would all change if we go under caution, because then they just pick up the rubber off their tires. But yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those things at Dover where if you do want to try to run the high side, you really, really got to commit to it before you gain a lot of speed up there.
Yeah, we've already had one driver decide to come down pit road, Michael York. We did mention in the start of the race the fuel window was 68 to 72 laps. However, tires are not going to be able to make it that long. Looks like Michael York just having some difficulties with his car, maybe coming in a little bit earlier than he would like to make some adjustments. But we'll see how Michael York is able to make some changes and start the charge to get his lap back.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at the his strategy before this race, and I was thinking you could probably do anything from a 3 to a 4 stop, because you do get 4 sets of tires in the pits here. But if I'm erring on the side of caution, you're probably going to want to try to make the tires go 50 laps if you can. Obviously, that's not always going to work, but 50 laps at the minimum, that'd be a 4-stop race. Or what we'll see most of these guys do is right when that pit window opens, at about that lap 68 mark, maybe even a little bit sooner, I could see them doing a 3-stopper where they're pitting about every 65 or 66 laps.
Yeah, I mean, if you take care of your tires enough early on, you definitely can push it to about 60 laps. So we'll keep an eye on Tristan Bailey. Tristan Bailey is the what's the word I'm looking for? He's the guy you want to watch as far as
he's the benchmark.
Yes,
yeah.
the bench. That's the word I was looking for. As he's able to stretch his laps out, pit at the absolute end of the window, and still maximize his lap times while he does it.
Yeah, he's always one of those guys where he's really fast everywhere we go, and I'm just like, how is he this good? And it's always incredible just to watch him every week to see how he approaches this.
Now, Tristan Bailey is your points leader right now, currently 68 points ahead of our second place driver, Adam Boughton. Tristan Bailey, 7 wins on the season. Then you've got John Osborne, Doug Denise, Christopher Howell making up your top 10. Well, one thing to also mention is, I mean, they're not separated by a unattainable amount of points, right?
No, definitely not. Yeah, it's still every man's game for sure.
And you've got, quite a few drivers with multiple wins on the season. Boughton, Osborne, Howell, and Tyler Burton all winning 2 races this season. So, the potential is there. Tristan Bailey has won 7 races, but it's also 10 races that he didn't win, right? So it's not impossible to get a win here in the Elite Cup Racing NextGen Series. With that being said, once we get into the chase, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of aggressive driving and, a lot of exciting racing as these drivers make the push for the championship.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're definitely going to see a lot of exciting racing down the stretch. And like you had mentioned, still anybody's game, but I think we're going to hit a point here in the next couple of weeks where I think we could pretty much put a bow on that regular season championship for Tristan Bailey. But one guy I want to look out for as we have that points reset is Dwayne Furtick and John Osborne. Those two have been putting some great races together over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and have been finishing their races really well. So those are 2 gentlemen that I'm looking at, especially Dwayne because he won last week, and then John the week before that at North Wilkesboro. So those are 2 guys that you might want to keep an eye on.
Yeah, absolutely. Dwayne Furtick and John Osborne, both members of Allegiant Inc. Racing, going back-to-back the previous 2 weeks, with Osborne taking the win at North Wilkesboro and Dwayne Furtick winning last week. So this team has some momentum. And we've got some drivers coming in for their green flag stops. Ethan Brooks, Gary Nash, here on lap 52 of 200. Douglas King with his iconic Cheez-It Chevrolet Camaro with the Greg Biffle on it. Doing it for Biff.
Yes. Be like Biff, do it for Dale, all those things.
Yeah, you know, as the years go on, you know, and you know, we unfortunately lose drivers. You know, we've lost so many people that were monumental, you know, to NASCAR, and it's almost like we'll have a two or three sentence long saying for all the the people that we've lost.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm noticing here, Tristan has kind of been pulling away here. The last couple laps, he's pulled it out by about 1.6 seconds now, just slowly pulling away from Dwayne. But I think we're going to start seeing pit stops probably in the next 5 to 10 laps here.
Yeah, you know, I just don't know how Tristan Bailey does it. He's so fast, long run, and then it's almost like he gets even faster as the runs go on. You know, he'll start out with 2 to 3/10 of a second lead, and then by the time the run is over, he's almost 2 to 3, sometimes even more than that, in front of the next closest driver in second place.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter who's running second either. It could be Osborne, it could be Dwayne, it could be Adam, anybody. A lot of time as we get into the mid portion of these races, he's got them covered 8 ways from Sunday. It's incredible what he's able to do week in and week out.
Yeah, now we've got some traffic starting to build up. We're looking at Tyler Boughton here, sitting behind Christopher Howell, but in front of him, you've got Ethan Brooks and Evan Marlowe. Ethan Brooks, a lap car, kind of increasing the congestion here, and he's on fresher tires, so he's going to have the pace.
He's going to have the pace, but he's definitely kind of been holding people up, even with the fresher tires. I almost wonder if he's just trying to save his stuff in the early portion of the run because he didn't do it as good the first time.
Yeah, then, you know, with how narrow this track is, there's really nowhere for him to go to get out of the way. You know, he'd have to just run all the way up at the fence the entire duration of the lap until these cars get past him. So, but good job by Aaron Miller and Tyler Boughton for being able to navigate around him. You know, it's just one of those situations where you just have to run your line and let everybody figure out a way to get around you.
And I know there used to be a comparison of this place in Dover, or in Bristol rather, having two comparisons, but they're almost kind of two different animals now with how the configuration is at both of those tracks. But I feel like the principle is still the same. There's nowhere to run and really nowhere to hide between those two tracks. And Bristol, it's a little bit more chaotic because even though we are going about 20 or 30 mile an hour slower at Bristol, the chaos and how fast things happen is still the same as Dover. Even though Dover, you are physically going a little bit more faster. I've seen guys as fast as 170 mile an hour going into these corners on brand new tires. And these guys are still going about 160, 165 going into 1 to 3 even on these older tires. So
yeah, we can see on board here with Pete Walsh. Pete Walsh has the momentum and the speed to get around McCall and Douglas King. However, with how narrow this track is, he's, you have to be careful with when and how you make your passes.
yeah, and I think we're going to see most of the passing today, unfortunately, in the pits. It seems like where most of the passing is going to get done. Now you get on pit road and navigate pit road with your roll time and everything else, and getting in and out of your pit stall is going to be key. And Dover is not an easy place to enter pit road on. It is probably, even though they've made some changes to the opening of pit road over the years, it is probably still the hardest pit road to enter on in really all of iRacing on old track racing, personally, I think. Because you're going so fast, you're going from 160, 170 mile an hour going into a corner, and then you've got to get that car rolled up to 40 miles an hour going into the pits. So.
Yeah, and then you factor in the banking change, getting down on that apron, the change of the pavement going from concrete to asphalt, and talk about throwing a wrench into a washing machine full of other wrenches. It just doesn't do it any good.
Actually, it's not even 40 miles an hour. It is 35 miles an hour on pit road here in this place.
Yeah, all. Oh, I don't even know how to describe that, but
very, very easy to speed here. I like what Kyle Petty said many moons ago about Daytona's pit road, and it's kind of the same as with Dover a little bit. It's like you're going from the interstate to the drive-through window when it comes to pulling off the track and getting on the pit road here, because you are going so fast on the track, but you have to go so slow on pit road.
Yeah, that's a real interesting way to put it. I kind of like that analogy. I mean, because you're literally having to go from full speed to a crawl, and that is not easy anywhere.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, Talladega and Daytona, I think, is hard in its way of like you're pitting in a pack, and you all got to go from like 190 to pit speed. That's difficult, and not wheel hop or lock up your tires or anything to spin and collect any other people. But Dover is just its own other beast, to where you're going 175 sometimes into these corners, and the banking change from the 30-some degrees of banking all the way down to a flat apron going, in a asphalt apron, by the way, and going 35 miles an hour.
And the other thing to mention and to keep your mind on is you're going to lose 2 laps on pit road.
Easily, yeah. 1 to 2 laps easily on pit road.
As we see Marlowe, Burton, McCall, and Walsh all 2 laps down after coming down pit road. So, that's going to play a factor mentally, right? Especially if a caution were to come out after you've gone ahead and made your pit stop and you're 2 laps down, and it's going to be pretty hard to recover from that.
Yeah, and the other side too. I mean, and if you speed here, it's going to hold you for about 40 seconds. So that just easily takes another lap and a half to 2 laps off of you as well. So if you're not careful, we've seen drivers here, because they speed on pit road, we've seen them lose 3 or 4 laps as well here at Dover.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were just talking about the lead that Tristan Bailey builds by the end of the run, and he's out to about 6 seconds over Christopher Howell, as Dwayne Furtick has came down pit road. Now Howell has not come down pit road either, and it looks like from the benchmark of Tristan Bailey, these guys can push it about 75 laps on tires.
Yeah, and kudos to these guys for making the tires last this long. It seems like these guys are probably trying to do it on a 2-ish stop strategy, which I'm not surprised that that some of our front runners are trying it. While compared to the other guys, they're definitely trying to do a 3-stop.
Yeah, now we are running about 80% fuel. I do believe that the start of this race, you'll get about 100 laps of fuel at 100%. So with 80% fuel, I would.
It's about 80 laps, give or take, 3 or 4 in either direction. So I mean, yeah, you could probably go 80 to 83, and at worst, you're probably going 75 to 70 laps.
Yep. As we see Tristan Bailey coming down pit road, and we do have to also factor in the caution on lap number 1, so that's gonna save about 2 to 3 laps of fuel.
they had a little. They extended the caution at the beginning, and then they had the lap 1 incident. So I mean, they were rolling under caution there, like you said, about 2 or 3 laps. So.
Christopher Howell coming down pit road. That'll yield the race lead momentarily to John Osborne.
Yeah, John's had a great season himself so far, winning at Wilkesboro a couple weeks ago, finished second at Indianapolis, and I think he had another top 5 last week. So he's one of those guys that's been running really good here lately, and he is coming down pit road.
Yeah, you can see him locking the tires up right there, trying to get slowed down. Almost lost it, but able to, able to control it. As ever.
Yeah, and he was one of those guys. He's gained 17 positions since the start of this race. A great save by him. And I think he was just wanting to be one of the last guys to pit, so that way he has the newest tires, so he could try to get a couple more spots. Because he got up to about like 7th or 8th and just kind of maintained there after starting in that 18th spot. So hopefully, when he cycles out, he's hoping to have increased that advantage by a couple of spots.
Yeah, now Evan Marlowe will have to pit last pitted, the beginning of the race. He'll have
his pit lap 65.
Oh, pit lap 6. Oh, okay. All right. 65. Okay. I must have misinterpreted that. Okay. So he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, he's in okay shape. I mean, it's not the worst strategy call, because he pitted at lap 65, and then Dwayne at 72, and Tristan at 77. So, those guys are fairly recent, but I think Evan's kind of on that borderline of like either doing that 2 or 3 stop, like I had mentioned earlier, and he's full bore with the 3 stop. So we'll just have to see. I think tires, though, Joe, I think they are going to prevail. So this may be, if we continue to go green, right, pinning any yellows or anything, this might be a really good strategy that Evan's on right now.
Yeah, you've got a point, and sometimes you take a gamble and it pays off. So maybe in this case for Evan Marlowe, it will pay off.
Yeah, but you also got to look at 2 of the best guys at saving tires in the league. They're running 2nd and 3rd right now with Dwayne Furtick and Tristan Bailey. So I think he'll be able to keep up his trend right now. He's down to about 3/4 of a second of an advantage between himself and the 2 guys running 2nd and 3rd, but he's honestly had a 3rd place car here tonight, so the worst he's going to fall back is 3rd anyway, because Chris Howell's 3 seconds back after Dwayne and Tristan do pass him. It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when these 2 get around him.
Yeah, the one thing though that is kind of working in Evan's favor is, he's got a great teammate in Tristan Bailey, and I'm pretty sure that Tristan Bailey has worked with Evan a lot and practiced throughout the week. So Evan he knows how to drive this track, and with that tire advantage that Furtick and Bailey are going to have is they're side by side, door to door.
If they didn't make contact, they were really close.
Yeah, I think I don't even know what you could.
I have no words on that.
Yeah, exactly. That was just.
That was really close.
And we've got Jenny Andre 3936 in the chat rooting on that number 21 of Evan Marlowe. But unfortunately, we're going to take a look from Evan Marlowe's point of view. Tristan Bailey is hot on his tail. And that's not the driver you want to see in your rearview mirror right there, Tristan Bailey. And You know, you know that Tristan's going to pass him clean. Tristan has never really done anything egregious here in the Next Gen series, but even going to be even more cautious, working on your teammate as he gets by Evan Marlowe pretty easily on the exit of turn number 2.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, it's just the difference in those tires, about 12 lap difference. That's gonna unfortunately play a factor with Tristan getting around pretty easily.
Yeah, and another wrench possibly thrown into the mix. Christopher Howell has now closed his gap down to just about a second and a half behind the leader, and he is only 0.5 of a second behind our third place driver, Dwayne Furtick.
Yeah, so yep, that's gonna be interesting. We're seeing Dwayne kind of fell back after him and Tristan were side by side, but yeah, you got Chris Howell right there too. He's a hungry hippo. He pitted on lap 78. So these two guys are going to be all over each other here. Even with the 5 lap difference, I mean, you could see how much faster Chris is than Dwayne, but just can't quite get around him.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that makes the Next Gen car what it is. You can get to the bumper of somebody, you know, you can get up to them, but what do you do once you get to them? And you know, we're seeing right here just how difficult it is to make a pass. It's almost like you have to go, you know, out of the groove and generate some momentum on the high side and kind of slingshot yourself past them and get to their left rear, you know, on entry so they can't come all the way down.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's been interesting to see these guys get around this racetrack, and everybody's doing it just a little bit differently too.
Yeah, you have some drivers opting for, you know, a small diamond. You have some drivers opting for you know, a little bit of a higher diamond, and you get some guys that are deciding to wrap the bottom. I mean, all will work. The question is how long will they work, and how often are you going to have to change up your line in order to stay in clean air and to maximize the grip and your lap times?
Yep, exactly. And unfortunately, that just seems to be the name of the game right now for most of how we navigate iRacing is finding that clean air and constantly having to adapt and change your lineup.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about at our halfway point, so we're going to just step away for a moment. We are going to take a quick break, but you will not miss any of the action as we go Sim Racing Media side by side. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here at Dover Motor Speedway, the Monster Mile for the Drive Sober for Dover 200 Elite Cup Racing Next Gen Series, live on Sim Racing Media. Tristan Bailey, your current leader. Evan Marlowe in second, Dwayne Furtick in third, Christopher Howell in fourth, and Aaron Miller in fifth.
Sixth, you got Adam Boughton. Seventh place, John Osborne. Eighth, Tyler Burton. Ninth is going to be Christopher Roth, and rounding out the top 10 is going to be Randy Meeks. second spot.
Yeah, we've got the 88 of Gary Nash coming down pit road here. I believe for maybe the second time tonight.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are starting to make that second stop, like you'd mentioned, and definitely not going to be his last. Can't make it 100 laps on fuel from here, so he's gonna have to pit one more time, and he's doing that that 3-stop strategy that I was talking about, pitting about every 65 to 66 laps.
Howell now has made it around Furtick for third. As we go on board here with Dwayne Furtick.
Yeah, and it was kind of shocking that Dwayne wasn't able to get around Evan. Even with the 5-lap fresher tire advantage that he had, 5 to 8 laps there, and with Howell having 5-lap newer tires than Dwayne was able to make that pass pretty easily. So even now with 13-lap difference on their tires, I don't know if Howell's going to be able to pass Evan, but he's definitely going to give him all he's got for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see just how dark the racetrack has gotten in turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that is going to play a big factor as well. You know, when you come down, you make your pit stop, you do your tires, your fuel, your adjustments, if any you made, and then you come back on a track that's really rubbered in, and you know that's going to have an effect on how your car handles. And you know, I think that is something that we're seeing here with Dwayne Furtick as he's fallen back from second to fourth.
Yeah, and another thing to note here is you could see how narrow the groove is coming into the corner and coming out of the corner, but in the middle of the corner you see where if you entered low and you kind of go up to the middle lane, you can kind of see the diamond line these guys are taking, or if they're wrapping the bottom. It's pretty cool to see with this feature that iRacing has put in with the dynamic track, and seeing these tracks start to take on rubber again. It's pretty interesting how you have to read it as a driver, a broadcaster for us up here in the booth, and even as a crew chief if you're helping your driver or a spotter.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that you know makes iRacing the top tier driving simulator, as it incorporates all of the real life elements and gives you the exposure that you would get in real life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I know a lot of drivers have been kind of hit or miss on iRacing over the years, but even hosts of and a couple of other people have said, like, this is the closest thing you get to the real thing. I think who nails it down better and makes it a full-on simulator is probably the OEMs of NASCAR. You know, Toyota and Ford and Chevrolet, they've got their own sims, and of course Dodge is trying to build their own thing with their systems as well. But iRacing is probably as close as you're going to get outside of a manufacturer or a series style simulator like you have with IndyCar and those kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can only imagine how much money and data goes into building these simulators, and it's just amazing how they're able to put all of this together, not just here on iRacing, but you talk about the OEM stuff as well. Able to just, literally take a car off the track and bring it into your facility electronically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's done. They've been doing some really good work for sure.
Well, we've got Adam Boughton and Tyler Burton here still battling it out for 7th right now. Adam Boughton starting 5th, currently 7th.
Yeah, and these boys have been battling it out all night amongst themselves. And it's almost like they've forgotten that a race is happening amongst the other competitors. These two have been locked in on each other and have been around each other for, from like lap 50 onward, it seems. You know, it seems like the last 50 to 70 laps, these two have been either nose to tail or side by side.
Yeah, I don't think if they weren't in front of one another, they were behind them for a large portion of this race. And you know, Tyler Boughton driving really good, diving down here to the inside of Boughton. Not sure if he'll be able to complete the pass, as Boughton is going to have all that momentum, is going to squeeze Tyler Boughton down on the bottom of the track. You could hear Tyler Boughton working those gears, and you know, you see just how close these cars come together as the track narrows down for the straightaways. But as it stands right now, and from what we can see from our perspective, is Adam Boughton has got the advantage over Tyler Boughton.
Yeah, you know, it's been interesting. Like you mentioned earlier, it's not even really that he can't get back to the gas like he wants to. Talking about Tyler Boughton when he was on the inside, or that Adam is really pinching. It's just he's kind of going with how the corner flows. And at Dover, for whatever reason, like if you go in high, you can't just stay high. Like you have to. It's almost kind of like a Darlington in a way when you get up that high on the racetrack, to where you have to be able to turn down a little bit to exit the corner. Otherwise, you're just going to be performance.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks that, you know, no matter what line you take, your car is going to push up to some degree. And, you know, I absolutely agree with you. If you are too high up, you're going to end up in the fence, and that's no place anyone wants to be, whether it's the inside fence or, I mean, the outside fence or the inside wall. And but that's just one of those things that makes Dover. And
well, and Dover's a self-cleaning racetrack, so if you hit one wall, you're bound to hit the other. Like if you hit outside wall first, you're going to find yourself in the inside wall, and 9 times out of 10 that does end your day.
yeah, absolutely. And you know, as we try and search around the racetrack a little bit, we seem to have a little battle here. John Osborne and Aaron Miller for 5th right now.
Yeah, and with John pitting as late as he did, I predicted he was going to probably hop from 9th to about 5th or 6th, and looky here. right about where I said he was going to be. So I bet you he's probably looking to do that again. Probably going to pit around 130, 140, I would imagine, is probably what he's looking at for his next pit stop. And that will get him to the end. Maybe even probably 150 or 160, and then he could just go from there. I mean, 40 laps here at Dover, he'll just be able to push it as hard as he wants to.
Yeah, we know you can go at least, at least I would say 70 to 75 laps on a set of tires. So that sounds about right.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised if we see Marlowe or Howell probably pit here within the next few laps, especially Marlowe. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in probably in the next 5 to 8 laps or so. And Chris Howell has taken over that second spot now, running 4 seconds or so behind our leader, Tristan Bailey.
Yeah, and I was just about to mention that. I saw it pop up on the live timing, and Christopher Howell, not sure he's going to have the juice to get up to Tristan Bailey. However, being able to hold on to this second spot for the remainder of the race, if he can, will definitely help his championship standings. Take a look here at Pete Walsh, right up behind Dwayne Furtick. Almost getting into him there. Pete Walsh, last pit on lap number 63, so it is almost time for him to come down. As you can really see, he is off the pace. Falling a lap down. Ryan McCall, though, set to be the lucky dog recipient should we get a caution.
Yeah, he's definitely been relying on that for sure. And Pete just falling a lap down. I would not be surprised if he comes into pit here. And then even though Randy has been running solid all night, I mean, he's in 8th place and he's going to be, in 10th place. And he's the next victim to fall a lap down too hardly. It just kind of shows how fast Tristan and Chris and Evan have been tonight. They've just been really fast and putting them up and laying them down as the race is going on here as far as these laps go.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'd much rather only go 2 laps down as opposed to going 3 laps down. If the leader gets to me, I'm in real trouble. So Randy Meek's going to have to strategize here at some point. We've got 11 cars on the lead lap where he's 19 seconds behind Tristan Bailey, which means that Tristan Bailey is technically only 4 seconds behind Randy Meek. So won't be too long before Tristan Bailey gets to him. Not sure how quick he'll be able to get that done. As I think that's Randy Meeks right there coming out of turn number 2 down the back straightaway, and yeah, just about a straightaway away from our leader. Randy Meeks ran a 23.8 last time around, and Tristan Bailey running a 23.6.
Yeah, and it's crazy from like 1st to 10th. I mean, everybody's right within 1 to 2 tenths of each other, and it's kind of crazy how over the course of a race or over the course of a fuel run, a 10th doesn't seem like much, folks, but it really does add up over the course of time.
I mean, if you think about it, if a 10th of a second, right? 1/10 of a second. So if you're running a 10th of a second faster than somebody in 10 laps, you'll be a second ahead of them. So it's just crazy how math works, isn't it?
Times, yes. But yeah, I'm seeing Dwayne has even actually fallen back to 5th now, and he said that's enough of losing spots. I'm coming to pit road. I need tires. And same thing with Adam Boughton as well. He's on pit road.
Yeah, I don't blame him because we've also got Aaron Miller on pit road, and we know Tristan Bailey's going to push it at least another 10 laps or so, and then I think that might do it for Tristan Bailey as far as pit. As far as pits go, it'll be a 3-stopper for him. Unless we get another caution.
3 runs for him.
Yeah. And I just did so good with my math there with my 1/10, and now I just unbelievable.
You had it right. You were just you had it backwards.
I did. I said it wrong. Yep. Tristan Bailey, Christopher Howell, John Osborne, your top 3 currently. As we are in the middle of our Second green flag pit cycle. You know, I do have to say, Gary, I'm a bit surprised with the way practice was going compared to how the race is going.
Oh, we have a caution.
There it is. The announcer's curse.
There it is. I don't know who spun, but we do have a caution on the Speedway.
Yeah, that's not going to be somebody
looks
that
like it
wanted
was
to.
Evan Marlowe. Evan Marlowe was the one that crashed.
Let's go back and take a look. Oh, trying to get on pit road. Trying to get on pit road. Evan Marlowe just couldn't quite get there and loses his left front fender. Well, the fender disappeared and then reappeared. But he's going to have...
Remember, like, a million years ago when Matt Kenseth was trying to get onto pit road at Dover and just spun and hit the barrels? And that's kind of what Evan did there, but head on. At least with Kenseth, he kind of hit it in the back end first into the water barrels at Dover. It's but like we said, man, it's hard to get onto this pit road, and he definitely proved it there.
Yeah, and you can see the way that Evan Marlowe's car is skewed. He's going to have some pretty significant damage, and I hate it for him, but it just might. I don't want to say end his race. It's going to significantly impact his race.
Yeah, I don't think it'll end his night either, unless he got the meatball flag. But definitely one of those things where you take a top 5 night, easy top 5, top 3 night, and not saying that he threw it away by any means of the imagination, but it's just one of those things where, you lack of a better term, you do throw it away, I guess, so to speak, trying to get onto pit road.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating when you do that to yourself. You could deal with the crash, you may be mad for a couple of days and that kind of thing, but man, if you crash on your own, especially trying to get on pit road, I don't care what track it is. I know this is the hardest place, but you will be kicking yourself for a couple weeks knowing that of what you had there with a top 5, and that's one of the things that you'll practice for the next forever is practicing getting on pit road.
Absolutely. But ladies and gentlemen, while we're under caution, we're going to just step away, pay some bills, but we will be right back.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. 57 laps to go here. Lights on the pace car are off. We will be going green this time by... If I could figure out where the cars were. Will be Tristan Bailey on the button here.
Green flag.
And it's just amazing how he was just able to pull away on that restart there and already out to over a second lead on second place.
Yeah, and it's going to be extremely unfortunate for at least P7 to P11 as all those drivers came in for their green flag pit stops before the caution came out, so they will all be a lap down. And unless we get another caution, I don't think any of them are going to get a lap back.
No, I don't think so. And they were 2 down, and then they waved around, and then they were still, a lap down, which it kind of reminds me of that incident at North Wilkesboro in the real life race between Reddick and Bowman, when Bowman basically said, "I turn now, good luck everybody else," when he was wanting to come in on pit road, and Reddick just had nowhere to go but hit him because Bowman didn't communicate that he was pitting. But just one of those things where that caution, that incident caused an entire cluster for the rest of the Cup race, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. One guy's mistake missing pit road, and now you've got, instead of 11 or 12 cars on the lead lap probably after pit stops, now you've only got 6.
We'll be curious to see how things play out here with 52 laps to go here. Adam Boughton falling down to 9th after that exchange.
Yeah, and he was one of those guys that just got that unlucky break of catching the caution in the middle of the cycle. So yeah, falling back to 9th, and unfortunately, where he's got, I think he could take down Mueller, but I don't know if he's going to have anything for Furtick. I think he's probably going to have to, instead of having a 5th or 6th place finish tonight, he's going to probably be finishing that 8th spot.
Yeah, and with Adam Boughton being your runner-up for the regular season championship, he's going to want to try and accumulate as many points as he can tonight and then the next 2 races to maximize his points for the reset. Although I may just have corrected myself, because I do believe it will just reset to an automatically set points. However, with 3 races to go, with you being so close to Tristan Bailey, and you've got the regular season championship in sight, this is definitely going to be a major blow for Adam Boughton here.
Yeah, it definitely is, unfortunately. Yeah, I think if they're doing it based off of how they do it in real life these days, it's just going to be a reset to a certain number. I do remember, though, in the old chase format back in the day, where when they did the reset, they seeded it by how many wins you had in the regular season and that kind of thing, and spaced them out by, like 5 or 10 points or something. No, with how they do the chase now, they don't do that. If you finish in the top, 12, then they just do a reset with the points, and they just leave be where you are, and the points is where you are. And wouldn't shock me, though, when we do have this points reset, if maybe a guy from 5th or 6th or 7th in points may have a shot to maybe spoil the party a little bit from Tristan Bailey, and maybe not necessarily steal the championship per se, but definitely have a better shot than where they are right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And a few drivers here to take note tonight. You've got Ryan McCall currently sitting top 5 right now in that 5th position, up 9 spots from where he started. Then you've also got Christopher Roth.
He's up 7 spots.
Up 7 spots, yep. And then the hard charger of the night is going to be your winner 2 weeks ago, John Osborne. He is up 16 spots from where he started. He's just been on an absolute tear tonight. And I wouldn't bet against a repeat of 2 weeks ago with him taking a win here.
No, absolutely not. And, he started 18th tonight, got his way up to, like I said, by the first pit stop, about 8th or 9th position, and then got up to 5th, and then he had that fortunate break there of that caution just now, and he was about 2nd or 3rd when that caution came out. And so, you know, he's had a couple of breaks here tonight, but he's also had a really fast car as well to get him up the leaderboard as this race is going on.
Yeah, you can see he is almost running a identical line of our leader, Tristan Bailey, and holding steady at just shy, or just a little bit over a second. Here with 40 laps to go. Take a look at some of the action in the middle of the field right now. Kent Mueller trying to make some headway on Dwayne Furtick. Furtick, after starting on the pole, has fell back to 7th place. And you can see how much more intense the rubber has been laid down on the track.
Yeah, and I was thinking under that caution all that rubber was going to get picked up, but I guess that's one thing that's different from the sim to real life is, you know, when under caution at a concrete track, we see all the rubber get picked up and it's basically a clean track again where we didn't really have to deal with that here on iRacing tonight. Good to know next time I race it over.
Yeah, absolutely. But it does appear Kent Mueller from that angle appeared to be gaining some time on Dwayne Furtick. Mueller just about 0.2 of a second behind Furtick.
Yeah, Dwayne just hasn't really had the second half of the race that he normally does. Normally he gets better throughout the race, and tonight he's just once he kind of faded back after that lap, you know, 70 or so pit stop, he's steadily falling back from second, then he was back to third and fourth. Now he's even after the pit stops here, he's back to 7th spot.
And you can see right there, Furtick and Mueller both getting into the wall.
Yeah, and I think they're driving really hard right now to make sure that they don't. Mueller on the attack mode, but Furtick I think driving a little bit more defensive and trying to pull away from Kent. So it's definitely going to be an interesting battle. And this is a battle for the lucky dog. Should we get another caution?
Yeah, you are correct.
I was trying to pull a U for you wanting the caution, and now I'm going to be rooting for the next one.
Yeah, Furtick will be the lucky dog recipient should we get another caution. I'm not sure. I'm not sure we'll get it, but you know, anything is possible.
Yeah, anything is possible. We got 32 laps to go. I mean, the 94 and the 10, Aaron Miller and Adam Boughton, they're battling pretty hard here for the 9th spot on track. And you know, Ryan, he's running that 6th spot. And he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna let you two just battle your brains out. I'm on the lead lap, so I really don't have anything to do with y'all right now.
Yeah, those drivers all only separated by about 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, and shout out to Tyler. He's had to overcome a couple of things here tonight, and he's running in that 5th spot right now in that 06.
Yeah, and he and Adam Boughton have kind of gotten separated. I wonder if there's going to be a little separation anxiety that's going to play a factor.
Well, you know, I don't think so, but hey, you never know. Yeah, because those guys were around each other for, it seemed like, the first 120, 130 laps of this thing.
Still a good performance here by the Eons Motorsports. They've got 3 drivers inside the top 10. And unfortunate for Evan Marlowe, with that incident now being about 29 laps down. We're going to go on board here with our leader, Tristan Bailey. Tristan Bailey leading 155, now 156 of 200 laps here at Dover for the Drive Sober for Dover 200. Tristan Bailey he's done everything right so far tonight. He just absolutely seems to get better and better as the run goes on. You've got John Osborne, Christopher Howell, your second and third place drivers. Christopher Howell, the only driver from Keystone Motorsports Group here on the track tonight. And then you've got Kent Mueller, Aaron Miller, Adam Boughton, Anthony Ludi for Revolution Motorsports. Just another friendly reminder, we'll be at Echo Park Atlanta Super Speedway next week, followed by Daytona. Daytona will be the regular season finale. And then we will begin the chase for the championship. First race of the chase will be at Kansas on September 26th. Ryan McCall now up to the 8th spot.
Like I said with Ryan earlier, he saw that, you know, the guys in front of him, Aaron and Mueller, were battling pretty hard for, well, it was actually Aaron and Adam battling really hard in front of him. And he just said, you know what, I'm just going to take a little bit of a backseat here in this moment and let them battle it out. But he was able to get around Adam, and now he's trying to reel in Aaron and try to get around some of these guys, see if he can make a fight with Tyler here in the last 20 laps.
Yeah, he's gonna have to navigate some of that lap traffic. He's got Miller and Mueller in front of him before he'll be able to get to Tyler Burden. But as it stands right now, Tristan Bailey, John Osborne, Christopher Howell, your top 3 drivers tonight. And we've got Kane Lee wants to know if we can do a celebration lap for Gary and his accomplishment. He's one of the best guys you can ever meet. Kane, I'm not 100% sure if they'll be able to do that, but I can agree. Gary Nash, absolutely an amazing individual, as well as the rest of the drivers and administration here for the Elite Cup Racing Next Gen Series.
a guy, man. I mean, 2 years sober. You know, anybody with an addiction, I know it's hard for them to break it, but you know, good to see Gary's 2 years sober now, and you know, good for him. That's a hefty accomplishment. It doesn't matter what addiction you have, whether it's, you know, alcohol or drugs or whatever. I mean, you know, kudos to him for getting on the straight and narrow, and hopefully sober for a lot more years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing to note, Gary Nash is a former champion here in Elite Cup racing, so he definitely has what it takes to not just win a race, but to win a championship. And speaking of championships, we'll take another look at our championship standings right now. Tristan Bailey on the top of the board. Gary Nash inside that bubble right now, 11th in the championship standings. And, you know, you'll most likely have Aaron Miller, Pete Walsh, Evan Marlowe battling to get into the chase, with Aaron Miller being on the bubble. Osborne is now 2 seconds behind our leader, Tristan Bailey.
Yeah, 11 laps to go, but I don't think anybody's going to have anything for Tristan unless we get a caution here. And it wouldn't shock me if we get another yellow and these guys come right back down pit road to get 4 more tires. Somebody will try it anyways.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, these guys are going to have about, you know, 50 or so laps on the tires. It's not a to stay out for a green white checker. I don't think that's the move. So if we do get a caution here with just 10 laps to go, I could not see anyone come down pit road. But with how spread out the field is, I mean, there's not really much. Not
really much happening.
No, I mean, you've got. The closest battle you've got right now is, you know,
probably Miller off running down Chris Howell. I mean,
yeah,
that's been happening the last few laps, but kind of been stagnant at about a second or so between those two guys. And I mean, Aaron and I was gonna say Aaron and Dwayne, but even Dwayne's pulled away on Aaron Miller here, and Adam's kind of on an island all by himself for position, and so is Randy Meeks. Randy Meeks just now going into 1, and you know, Adam just now going into 3 here. So pretty spread out as far as battles for position goes.
Yeah, that is the trend here with. Excuse me. The trend with tracks that are a mile or less. You know, after these long runs, the field just gets really spread out, and the guys that are able to be consistent throughout the run usually end up front, and that's what we're seeing right now with Bailey, Osborne, Howell, and even Christopher Roth. I mean, Christopher Roth, he's not that far behind Christopher Howell. Just only about I don't know, 0.6 of a second behind Howell. As Tristan Bailey comes across the line and brings us to just 3 laps to go here at Dover. And taking the white flag is going to be Tristan Bailey down the back straightaway for the final time with an absolutely dominating performance. And he will come across the start-finish line, take the checkered flag, and the win here at Dover.
John Osborne's going to finish in that second spot. Chris Howell's going to finish third.
Your top 3 finishers for tonight: Tristan Bailey, John Osborne, Christopher Howell. And Tristan Bailey, again, with another dominating performance, able to get it done here tonight. Tristan Bailey leading 182 of 200 laps. As you can see, all of the win stickers and we will go ahead and pull in our race winner of tonight, Tristan Bailey. This is Joe and Gary in the booth. You got a copy?
What's up, fellas?
Man, win number 8 on the season. You did everything right tonight. No mistakes, thankfully. Man, that caution came out just in time for you, right?
I'd much rather not seen it, if I'm being honest with you, Joe. I'd rather it stayed green.
Yeah, you know, we've had, I think we only had 2 cautions tonight, and, you know, you put on a stellar performance here, got your 8th win of the season, still going to retain your lead on the regular season championship. And, man, walk me through just what it took to come away with the win here tonight.
This is one of those tracks you actually have to drive slow to keep the tires from going away. During practice with my teammates we did today, you had to run literally like 1 second to like 1.2 to 3 seconds slower to be able to make the tires last the entire run.
Yeah, now we saw a lot of rubber building up on the track. Did that play a factor in you know, your entry and your exit speeds at all?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. It probably did, because once the rubber actually got on the track, it actually got more grip. You wasn't as loose, and you wouldn't burn as much tire, it seems like. So, It was. I kind of liked it better with a little bit of what you call it, rubber on the track. It helped a lot more, I feel like, in the long run. But I just wish that would have stayed green to the end. I was really good on the long run, but thankfully I didn't spin my tires on the restart. That was my biggest fear, was spinning the tires on the restart.
Yeah, those restarts, especially on the concrete tracks, are always tricky. But you were able to come away with the win tonight in that number 9 Humanities 101 Chevrolet Camaro, number 8 on the season. As we get ready to head into Echo Park Speedway next week, what are your thoughts and feelings as we go from a short track to another super speedway style of track?
We're actually running the '08 version, and we have a next week off, so it'll be in 2 weeks. But I look forward to that track
nice.
because that is my probably honestly favorite track. I love Old Atlanta, and if you run it wrong, you pay the price. It's almost like how Darlington chews tires and how this chew tires. You just gotta be comfortable with the car. You gotta be patient with it. You can't just try to do 110% every lap. You gotta learn how to pace yourself, and that's what I did tonight. Kind of corresponds with each other. It helps to take care of your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Echo Park Atlanta, another one of my favorite tracks as well. And you are correct. We'll be off next week for Richmond. For the real life Richmond race, and we'll be back again in 2 weeks at Atlanta. But Tristan Bailey, coming away with a win tonight. Who do you want to thank? Who helped you get it done tonight, sir?
I want to thank my young teammates. Poor Evan, he was having a good run, and then he messed up pit entry and smoked the barrels there, and so it brought that caution out. But Tyler had a good run to come home, finish fifth. Ryan with a great run came on, finished sixth. I also want to give a shout out to Christopher Roth for finishing fourth. Pretty sure that's his best finish yet, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong, but just thank you guys for broadcasting. Thanks my wife for watching. My parents for watching, my grandmother watching. Thank you guys for broadcasting. I said that just a minute ago. Thank Adam for all them for running the league, and I think that's about it, buddy.
Awesome. Well, Tristan Bailey, congratulations on your win, and we will see you in 2, not 1 weeks, at Atlanta.
You have a good one.
You too. All right. That was your race winner, Tristan Bailey. And we will now switch to our second place finisher, John Osborne. This is Joe and Gary in the booth. You got us?
Well, what is up, gentlemen?
Man, I'm almost getting sick of talking to you, buddy.
If you're sick of me, you're definitely sick of the guys winning every week.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what.
Man, I did it. I'm tired, man. I did everything I could there. There's just, I thought maybe if I could get within a second that, maybe I could run the high side and drive down, but I couldn't. I just couldn't get there, and I was doing my best to not overdrive it. And I had a ton of rear brake in it because it was so tight. But man, there's nothing I can do. I did everything possible there. That caution coming out when it did couldn't have come out at a better time for me. I hate it for my teammate. Evidently, it must have been 2 laps down, and so when they got the wave around, it just put everybody back 1 lap down. Because I thought he was on the lead lap. I was like, why are you? And I thought something happened to him. I was like, Dwayne, what happened? He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, you're still a lap down. He's like, I don't know. But, yeah, I messed up in qualifying. It pushed on me a little bit coming off of 4, and I barely tapped the wall and went after it again on second lap. Had way too much heat in the tires. Just, spun it out, so I had to start in the back. And, yeah, we just kind of picked our way through there. But, car was good. The longer the race went, car got better. I had it set up pretty loose as I could get it set up. So I knew I would be good back half of the race. I really wanted the whole thing to go green. But that caution came out at a good time, but a bad time for a lot of people, but good time for me. But overall, it was a good day. Worked hard this week, and you know, working on this track. I haven't been very good here, so but I'm very happy with second. Definitely would have loved to have been one position higher, but it was what it was. I was talking to Chris when we were waiting, and I was like, man, I didn't get into you, did I? When I was trying to pass you, and I was like, I heard something, but I didn't see anything pop up on the screen. He's like, no, I don't think you did. I definitely brushed the wall a little bit. I was like, well, I wasn't trying to pinch you, and but I was like, I had to go. if anything was going to happen, it's going to happen soon because once the tires level out, man, there's not a whole lot you can do. But overall, good night. Or first loser, but it is what it is.
Yeah, now Gary, we've got just 3 races. Geez, I don't know why I called you Gary. John.
John.
We've got 3 races. 2 races now to go, and until the chase. With Old Atlanta being the race that we're gonna attack in about 2 weeks. You got any thoughts as we get ready to prepare for that?
I ran there. I ran good there in the beginning of the season. I'm so happy we're going back there. I think we ran Atlanta 3 times this season, right? Once in the beginning of the season, then we did the plate version, and then we're going back. So I think it's super cool that we're going back there. I was very, very fast there. Back in the winter when the season first started, and I was on a portable setup, way down in South Georgia, and I think I finished third. I can't. I'm pretty sure I did. But car felt good. That night Atlanta sets up good for my driving style. Tristan's obviously going to be great there. I think he won the race back then. But I love Atlanta. Where are we at next week? I don't even know.
We're off next week.
Oh, we're off. So we go to Atlanta, and then what's after Atlanta?
2 more weeks off, and we got Daytona to wrap up the regular season on September 12th.
Anybody can win those. I'm looking forward to Atlanta though. It's a great track. I much prefer old Atlanta to the new Atlanta.
I think everybody does.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the first plate race when they reconfigured it and repaved it, and William Byron won it. And it was cool to see, but I'm just like, it's just not the same. After they switched Atlanta from a true oval to the tri-oval, I felt like that's what Atlanta was supposed to be. Now I'm really hoping that once it gets a little bit more wear, I think the track is ready now for them to put an intermediate package on there. And I would really like to see that in real life. 1 plate race and then 1 intermediate race, or non-plate race. I hope that's what they do. But yeah, man. We'll get after it and see how we can fare. Yeah.
Well, awesome, Mr. Osborne. Second place finish here tonight. We want to give you the opportunity to give your shout outs, thank your sponsors and whoever helped you get it done tonight.
Yeah, thanks Casio G-Shock on the hood, on many parts of my car. Dwayne made the paint for me. I kind of told him what I was wanting, what I was looking for. I don't know if y'all know, but the stripes down the car are kind of a nod to Casey Kane's 2005 Brickyard car, where he finished second to
the GOAT.
Yeah, none other than Tony Stewart. But man, that guy was really good at finishing second. I know how he feels. Not Tony Stewart. I'm talking about Casey Kane. But
yeah, I knew what you meant.
yeah. Definitely thank Adam and Kent for putting on ECR. They do a great job. And I was kind of happy. It was a little hot today on the track. Get a little loose. Starting in the back, I kind of knew that somebody was gonna spin the tires and cause a caution there, and it did happen. Yeah, want to thank my teammate Dwayne. I really appreciate him. He's become just such a great friend. I hate he got trapped in the lap down, but I think he was the first car lap down. So good job of keeping that. Get finished in the top 10 and 7th. And thank you guys up here in the booth, Gary, front row. Appreciate y'all. Dover's a fun track, so I know we had a lot of good racing around the racetrack tonight. So hopefully it gave y'all a lot of cool camera angles. But yeah.
Well, all
Yeah, I
right,
guess that's it.
Mr. John Osborne, again, your second place finisher tonight, and we will see you in about 2 weeks.
You got it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was your second place finisher, John Osborne.
No.
And now we've got our third place finisher, Christopher Howell.
I was waiting for him to call him Christopher Roth somehow. I was waiting on that.
You know what? I'll just be Dwayne for the week. How about that?
Hey, you know what? I mean, I don't know if I'd want to be Dwayne this week because he finished.
Oh, yeah, could I be Dwayne last week?
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Chris, talk about your race, man. How was it tonight? And solid run for you. You started 7th, finished 3rd. Talk about your car.
it was a pace game, is what it really was. Dover's always been like that. You just gotta pace yourself. There's a certain sweet spot you gotta run the car. If you run any faster than that, well, about 40, 50 laps into the run, your car is just going to give up. And so I kind of knew that. I've ran Dover quite a bit just tonight. Just Tristan was the class of the field, and John was able to get me there because due to the caution. Not saying or taking anything away from him, but I think I ran second for a large majority of the race once it started cycling through green flag stops there, and just unfortunate with the caution there towards the end. I think around lap 140, something like that. Just didn't need it. Could have probably gained one more point, but all in all, I'll still take a third. Not to take anything away from Tristan, that's awesome win for him, but I'm kind of getting tired of seeing him win every week, I tell you. And I guess we need to do something about it, So I guess we're going to try. See if we could do something maybe in the chase.
Well, we do have Atlanta here, and it's old Atlanta here in a couple weeks. What are your thoughts going into that old mile and a half and Daytona to rack up the regular season? How do you feel about your chances for, maybe sneaking out a win here before the chase?
I think it's what, the old Atlanta. I think it's 08.
It is, yeah.
So I mean, obviously tire wear is going to be big there too, but unfortunately what happens at that track is everybody will start on the bottom and then it'll just migrate to the top, and it'll be a 1-lane track at the top, and it'll be all about just hitting your marks and not making a mistake up there so someone could capitalize on you. So I mean, I know how to run Atlanta. I don't think I've ever won at Atlanta, but I've usually top 5, top 3 car. So we'll see what we could do there. Maybe we can take another win this season, and I think we got one more race after that before we hit the playoffs. I think what's that last race?
Daytona.
Daytona, okay. Which I really like super speedways, so. Yeah, let's just try to close this thing out. I think after tonight's points, I think I finally broke into the top 5 in the standings. Obviously, Doug took a provisional, so I think I made a huge points gain on him. I think I was like 16 back. But to look back at the beginning of the season, the first race of the season, I was the first car out. So I started with basically 10 points at the beginning of the season, and I've been scratching and clawing my way back up into the point standings. Knocked out a couple wins, and hopefully we can get a couple more before the playoffs, and maybe we can get some in the playoffs. So the playoffs got a lot of wild card tracks in there. It's a lot of, I think there's a super speedway in there, and I think the rest are all mile and a halfs except for Phoenix. So it's anybody's game at those type of tracks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, any final thoughts or thanks or shout outs you want to give on your third place run here?
Yeah, I just want to thank Dwayne for letting me be Dwayne this week, and then and no, seriously, I just want to thank all the admins in the league, especially Adam. He runs a very good league, keeps us all in check, makes pretty good calls every week. I just want to thank you guys for putting on the awesome broadcasts, and just want to thank all the racers in the league. I mean, we've put up some pretty good races here lately. Just a couple of cautions in each one, so hopefully we can keep that up all the way to the end. And obviously, just want to thank my family, my friends, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on P3 and switching bodies with Dwayne this week. We'll
Yeah, not a
we'll
problem.
see you in a couple. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right,
Atlanta.
man. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
All right, ladies
Take
and
us home,
gentlemen,
Joe.
we, we can't always be perfect, but Tristan Bailey coming away with the win tonight. You've got John Osborne in second, Christopher Howell in third, Christopher Roth in fourth, Tyler Burton finishing fifth, Ryan McCall finishing sixth, Dwayne Furtick finishing seventh, Aaron Miller in eighth, Kent Mueller finishing ninth, and your 10th spot goes to Adam Boughton. Randy Meeks coming away in 11th. 12th place goes to Pete Walsh. 13th, Evan Brooks. Gary Nash in 14th. Evan Marlowe in 15th. Douglas King 16th. Alan Holtzman 17th. Michael York in 18th. And Anthony Ludi in 19th, out early after that incident on lap number 1. Hard charger of the night, John Osborne. Most laps led and the fastest lap go to Tristan Bailey. And obviously your pole winner, Dwayne Furtick. 203 miles traveled tonight, 200 laps. 5 different green flag lead changes, 5 different leaders. 2 cautions tonight, total of 6 laps. And Gary, it was an absolute stellar race. A lot of drivers making a lot of movements around the tracks. And then Tristan Bailey, again, just absolutely dominating the track.
Yeah, absolutely another dominant performance by Tristan. Win number 8 on the season for Tristan up to this point. And everybody gets a little bit of a break. They get a week off. We go to Atlanta. And that should be an interesting race. Looking forward to that, and the rest of the season as we move forward here for the ECR Cup Series.
Yeah, absolutely, and just a reminder: 2 weeks at Atlanta, the old Atlanta, the 2008 version, followed by Daytona. Those will be your final 2 regular season races before we head into the chase. Also known as the playoffs. And, we just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hopefully everybody comes back in 2 weeks for the race at Atlanta. And, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Front Row Joe, a.k.a. Joe Manella, joined by Gary Wells here at Sim Racing Media. Wish everybody a good night and have a good rest of your weekend. We'll see you in just a few weeks.